But I always wonder about that.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 5 PM, October the 7th, 2024. It's time to call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Sure. Mayor Barnett,
Present.
Mr. Austin,
Here.
Ms. Gross,
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. Thank you. Is there any announcements or public comment that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll go on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the minutes for September 16th Board of Works meeting, as well as the approval claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
There isn't any old business. We'll go right into new business. Request the following subdivision performance bonds be released for Cambridge, Section 1, and request the following subdivision maintenance bonds be accepted for Cambridge, Section 1. Assistant City Engineer Matt McElroy.
Thank you, Mayor. Requesting the following subdivision performance bonds for Kingsbridge Section 1. Performance bond number 4531760 for storm sewers, swales, and under drains in the amount of $576,374.34. Performance bond number 5361494 for survey monuments in the amount of $26,760. Also requesting the following subdivision maintenance bond be accepted for Kingsbridge Section 1. Maintenance bond number 5769450 for storm sewers, swales, and under drains in the amount of $120,077.99. Maintenance bond 5769451 for survey monuments in the amount of $5,575 even.
Matt, could you tell the people of the public what survey monuments are, since I've asked you 100
So
times?
anything from centerline monuments to lot corners to perimeter marks that go in the ground, they're rebar with caps. You'll see them at intersections for the centerline monuments. They're little steel caps.
And those are the things that are put in the ground that we
Yes,
measure.
correct.
Are they also survey control points, SCPs?
They're not usually control points. They're
Okay.
just lot corners. Those are usually set off the site to kind of get a benchmark.
Okay, thank you.
Just curious.
I've only asked him 100 times.
I'll move to approve the subdivision performance bonds be released for Kingsbridge Section 1 as presented, and to also approve the subdivision maintenance bond be accepted for Kingsbridge Section 1 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item, request the following performance letters of credit and subdivision performance surety agreements be released for Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Sections 1 and 2, and request the following maintenance letter and credit and subdivision maintenance surety agreements be accepted for the Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Sections 1 and 2. Matt McElroy.
All right, got a lot of them here. Request following performance letters of credit for Bluffs Youngs Creek, Section 1 and 2. Performance for Section 1, we have letter of credit 629710-1 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights in the amount of $72,600 even. Letter of credit number 6297-10-6 for sidewalks, $100,015.20. Letter of credit 6297-10-7 for survey monuments and street signs for $11,070 even. Performance bonds for Section 2, letter of credit 6297-20-1 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights in the amount of $101,100.00. Letter of credit 6297-20-6 for sidewalks in the amount of $226,629.60. Letter of credit 6297-20-7 for survey monuments and street signs in the amount of $14,640.00. Request the following maintenance letter to credit and subdivision maintenance surety agreements be accepted for Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 1 and 2. Maintenance for Section 1, letter of credit 19083-10-1, street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $15,125.00. Letter of credit 19083-10-2 for sidewalks, $20,836.50. Letter of credit 19083-10-3 for survey monuments and street signs, $2,306.25. Maintenance for Section 2, letter of credit 19093-10-1 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $21,062.50. Letter of credit 19093-10-2 for sidewalks, $47,214.50. And letter of credit 19093-10-3 for survey monuments and street signs for $3,050.00.
I missed some of those. Can you do that again?
Dan, would you read that back, please?
No, I was just
That is it.
kidding. I heard it loud and clear.
Mr. Mayor, as I have disclosed in previous instances, I am on the Board of Directors of the Mutual Bank. I do not review nor do I approve these on behalf of the bank. I do review them and approve them on behalf of this city.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the performance letters of credit and subdivision performance surety agreements be released for Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 1 and Section 2. Also approve the maintenance letters of credit and subdivision maintenance surety agreements be accepted for Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 1 and Section 2, as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next item, request acceptance and execution of easements for parcels 1, 5, and 16 for the West Side Interceptor Project. City Engineer Mark Richards.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I have 3 parcels that we have easements for. 2 of the parcels have both temporary and construction easements plus ingress-egress easements to be able to access the permanent sanitary sewer easement for ongoing maintenance in perpetuity. The other is a sanitary sewer easement only. The first easement, parcel number 1 is in the amount of $40,232 is the amount that's being paid for the easements. As I said, there's 3 easements there. Parcel number 5 is being acquired from DNR in the amount of $1,000. And parcel number 16 is being acquired from the Taylor family in the amount of $52,292. And there are 3 easements there. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mark, I had asked how you come up with the purchase price on some of these. Could you explain that
Sure.
a little bit?
First, the consultant develops acquisition documents. They do the engineering needed to identify the boundaries of the easements that we're acquiring. From that information, they can determine the size or number of acres that are being acquired. And then an appraisal is done by a licensed appraiser in the state of Indiana with the experience in this sort of acquisition. So once that appraisal is done, we make an offer to the landowner to acquire the easement. In some cases, the property owner feels that that's not a fair offer to them, so they'll come back and they may make a counteroffer. If they do, then we we would ask them to provide justification, appraisals of similar properties that they're aware of. So we ultimately decide on an acquisition price. We try to avoid eminent domain when we can, just because of the cost and the length of time that it takes to do that. Lynn, what's the typical cost to go through eminent domain now?
Oh, you may be looking at additional 25,000 plus time and delay, and that is in the event that that's paying our expenses, our engineers, our experts, our time. A typical case will take a couple of days to try, so then you're talking about your staff being in the courtroom. So if we're $500, $1,000, $1,500 apart, and there is reasonable justification, we'll look at it and agree on it. It makes a lot more sense from the city standpoint. So, and usually they will give us, and with these projects, we've had enough experience, because they're usually contiguous properties that everybody kind of knows what they are, what they're worth.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll change depending on the zoning of the property that we are acquiring, but built within your approval of agreements where you hire our engineering firms, they have the acquisition part built into the budget. Then they'll also have, we will pay part of the professional fees to go out and do those appraisals and stuff. So it's more art than science, but typically we have to be able to justify that it's a reasonable cost, not just because we like the person or don't like the person in terms of,
Okay.
so, yeah.
And I think I've seen some for $1. Is that true?
Well, typically what you'll see in the recorded document, it will say for $1 and other valuable consideration. That dollar doesn't mean that's what was paid to the
Right.
property owner.
Okay.
That's what's listed on the deeds of the easements when they're recorded in the recorder's office. Because those are all public records too, and oftentimes the property owner doesn't want everybody in the recorder's office to know, even though this is a public meeting, and they will do that.
So that's why I didn't see the 40,000.
Yeah.
And-
And
Okay.
that's why we bring it here, to get your authority to pay that. So
Okay.
Exactly, but almost all of them say $1. You'll also see
Okay.
that the ones that Mark just presented to you were on a form that looks different than the next one that he's going to talk about. And that may change because there may be a circumstance like the next one, may be owned as a partnership. And then they have a lawyer, and with all due respect to my profession, that generally increases the size of a document about tenfold in terms of adding language and things of that nature. So the form that this one used was one that Joanna and I and Crossroads worked on at the very beginning of the whole process, and said, this is a form that's good enough for us for these, and if they don't push back on anything, we just use that one, and I don't get involved. It's only when the attorneys get involved that it becomes a little different negotiated. Same concept, same
Okay.
practice occurs.
How much room do you have to negotiate?
Well, we don't, we often will negotiate language. We won't negotiate price a whole heck of a lot because it's taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
so, I mean, we have to have a reasonable justification for it. But there may be circumstances where somebody has a crop on it. And so that will have some additional monies that will be due, not just the value of the land. Somebody needs to have access to get their tenant in and out of it during one of our projects. We may be putting something on the property, and then we're going to have some cost to go back and repair it and put it back to the same way that it was. We may have a easement that we're going to need to have permanently so that we can access our facility. Let's say if we have a lift station or something like that. So that is a restriction on it. But we have to be very cognizant of the fact it has to be tied to some appraised value. Understanding appraisals are always subject to some interpretation, but it has to be pretty much tied to that because we're using taxpayer dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I was a little confused about the process.
Aren't we using utility dollars for these? The money comes from the utility.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
right.
She said tax money, so I just wanted to be
Well,
sure.
let's say,
that it
thank you,
is
Sally. It was a
Utility
good correction.
money.
Let's put it like that, it's city funds.
Right,
Generally from either our customers and/or taxpayers, and so we have to have a rational basis for paying it.
Okay. So the real purchase price, can you repeat that?
The purchase price of parcel number 1, which is to IMH Realty, $40,232. Parcel number 5 is to DNR for $1,000. And parcel number 16 is to the Taylor family in the amount of $52,292.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, after that grilling, I will move to approve.
It's good to ask those questions. It's good.
They're great
Acceptance-
questions.
Acceptance and execution of easements for parcels 1, 5, and 16 for the West Side Interceptor Project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, request acceptance and execution of settlement agreement and temporary construction easements for the Paul Hand Road Reconstruction Project. City Engineer Mark Richards.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for acquisition of basically temporary right-of-way along the north side of Paul Hand Road from 3 different property owners. This is the one that Ms. Gray said is a little bit different because the property owners retained an attorney to negotiate this for them. There are 4 documents here. First is a settlement agreement, and then the other 3 documents are the individual construction easement or right-of-way agreements for the 3 parcels. The total amount being paid for all 3 parcel rights-of-way is $7,145. I don't have a split. The check is going to be made out to a partnership, and so there's just a single check being written. But I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
And these, although they may be the same acreage or similar, I do note the 28 pages versus the 4, the other one. But it's $7,100, but you'll note that these are temporary easements, so valuable to us, but once they're done, the property goes back to the homeowner. That's why the amount
Okay.
really is much.
So on this one here, it is closer to being the tax dollars, not the user dollars.
Oh, hey,
And this one is also split between the county, Whiteland, and Franklin on this one. We keep track of that at the end of the day.
this is the Paul Hand Road project. It's not the roundabout project.
Okay, my bad. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Certainly. And I would also like whoever makes a motion to include that the mayor would sign on the board's behalf.
I will move to approve acceptance and execution of settlement agreement and temporary construction easements for the Paul Hand Road Reconstruction Project with additional authority for the mayor to sign on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item, request approval and execution of change order 6 for the Active Adult Center project. City Engineer Mark Richards.
Thank you, Mayor. As you all will recall, the Parks Department purchased the property at 350 Ritchie Street, and that residence is going to be torn down. Should be underway right now. I'm not sure if.
They're scheduled to start tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Matt. So we want to expand the parking lot into this additional parcel. We did receive a change order from the contractor in the amount of $77,583. That amount is, I will say, 2%, under 2% of the total contract price.
Oh, yeah, when I did my math, including all the other ones we've done, we're at .021889%.
Thank you. The cost of this covers the addition of asphalt pavement to the area where the house will have been located. It also includes moving the dumpster enclosure to this area, and it includes the addition of some heavy-duty pavement to allow for access by trash trucks back to that dumpster enclosure. So it's reasonable. We've taken a look at it, and this change order cost is reasonable. I would also like to request that the mayor be authorized to sign on the board's behalf for this change order.
Okay, I want to add on this one as well. I think everybody's heard me talk about, we applied for a grant on this one with the Central Indiana Regional Development Authority, which goes through the IEDC, the Ready To grant. We did get confirmation that we will get a Ready To grant, $750,000. It come last week. So that is going to help pay for, we had the funds there that the council already approved, but this is going to help with these sort of things, so.
I'll move to approve and execute change order number 6 for the Active Adult Center project, and also authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next
you.
item, request approval of the 2025 Johnson Memorial Hospital Wellness Program Service Agreement. Clerk Treasurer Jan Jones.
Yeah, this is just a renewal of a contract that we've had going since 2011, and it's just providing wellness screening services to the city employees and certain other dependent family members as set forth in the agreement. And again, it's been implemented since 2011, so it's just a renewal of the contract.
And I think we have found over the years that it did help screen. I know of a fireman that they found a bad heart on, so we do know that that has happened, so,
That's great.
yeah.
It's been the same amount for as long as I can remember. They haven't increased the price at all. It's been-
I'll move to approve the 2025 Johnson Memorial Hospital Wellness Program Service Agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item. Thank you.
Was this withdrawn off the agenda? Sanitary sewer. Sewer service agreement.
That one,
Lost
think
again. Okay, all right,
I haven't seen it.
okay.
Okay, the next item that I have here is request approval of budgetary resolution 24-03 to appropriate money in the wastewater treatment plant 200 series, the wastewater treatment plant 300, and the sewer maintenance 200. DPW Superintendent Sally Brown.
Thank you. I'm asking for an additional $500,000 be appropriated for our use. In particular, in the 200 series, $185,000 wastewater plant services, which is 300 series, $250,000, and sewer maintenance supplies, $265,000. We asked last year for an increase as well, and I think with the budgeting that the mayor did this year for our budget next year, we've increased that budget, so we should not have to keep coming back yearly to do this, and we should have plenty of funds for next year. And as you know, everything has just gone up in price, so. Any questions?
And just to clarify a little bit, last year we did do the same thing.
Yes.
And we did not adjust the budget last year. That's why we're doing it again this year. Next year, it should be, like Sally said, adjusted.
Yes, thank you.
I'll move to approve the budgetary resolution 24-03 to appropriate money in wastewater treatment plant 200, 300, and sewer maintenance, 200.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Next item, 2024 Halloween hours, October 31st, 2024, 6 PM to 8:30, and Police Chief Kirby Cochran.
Yeah, Mayor, you kind of summed it up. We're just trying to keep our Halloween hours basically the same every year, and that's a county-wide agreement. Sheriff typically puts out an email, and everybody agrees to a specific set of hours. We'd like to keep them at those hours.
Okay, and then Chief, just before we vote on this one, just to clarify, we talked about it today, the Martin Place
Yeah.
yearly.
And so the Martin Place event that takes place every year, we'll also have, it'll be the same hours, 6 to 8:30. We'll have officers there from 5:30 till about 8:30 or 9, whenever it ends and traffic's cleared out. There'll be 2 officers, one on each end of the entrance of Martin Place.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move to approve the Halloween hours on October 31st, 2024, from 6 to 8:30 PM.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item, request approval of the holiday schedule for 2025. Hope everybody had a time to look at that, and Christmas Day being on a Thursday in the middle of the week. We've adjusted that to make sure we still have the same amount of days that we've had every single year, which is 14. So I think Jan and I talked to the department heads about it, and this is what we feel like is good.
That's a nice gesture. Did you have to trade out another federal holiday or something? No, it just worked out that way?
Yeah.
Good. I'll move to approve the holiday schedules for 2025 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item, request approval of the meeting dates for 2025. And we started probably 7 or 8 years ago of trying to do 2 meetings a month instead of, if it didn't fall on a Monday, we canceled. And it looks like in the coming year, we have January and February will be on a Wednesday, and then we have in September would be a Tuesday. So we only have 3 days this coming year that's not on a Monday, so that's kind of usually it's 4 or 5, so.
I'll move to approve the meeting dates for 2025 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that gets us to the department reports. We'll start with you, Sally.
Thank you. We had a meeting this last week. It was the 60% design meeting with Wessler Engineering, and it lasted quite a while. But they also came on site, and we're helping them do some locating of where pipes are, because over the years, stuff isn't where we think it might be. So we're helping out with that, and we should have some more answers. They're on schedule. So, that's that.
Okay. Mark?
Yes, sir. There was a couple of items that didn't make it on the agenda. Matt's going to be presenting those. Sanitary sewer easements and inspection and testing agreements for the bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 5.
Yeah, thank you. We've received the sanitary sewer special agreement and inspection agreements. The Bluffs at Section 5B is wanting to get started. The sanitary sewer service special agreement is just an agreement between the city and the developer that they're going to be connecting to our sanitary system. And then the earthwork and paving inspection agreement and storm and sanitary sewer inspection agreements are basically to provide city staff payment for hours spent out on site inspecting those items for that section of Bluffs at Youngs Creek. So at this time, I'm basically requesting that from the board approval of all those agreements and inspection agreements for that new section.
And for the record, Lynn's looked that over.
Yeah, Liv provided me a copy of it last Friday, and there are standard form agreements that we use. We have another draft of those, and they agreed to, Section 5, correct?
5B, yeah.
5B?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so they basically agree that they will reimburse us for our costs for inspections and what the costs are going to be, and they are our standard forms.
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
Tina, you want to wing it?
I will move to approve the sanitary sewer agreement and inspection agreement for Bluffs at Young Creek for the city to get reimbursed costs. Is that correct?
5B.
Yeah.
Section 5B?
Yeah, it's the sanitary sewer service special agreement,
Yep.
earthwork and paving inspection service agreement, and the storm and sanitary sewer inspection service agreement. Those are the ones you moved approval of, correct?
Correct.
That's what I thought.
Second.
Thanks for the save, Lynn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Said aye.
Thank you.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Mark?
Thanks,
That's
Tina.
all I have, thank
That's all
you.
you have?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Brett?
You may not travel King Street as often as I do, but I'm really excited that the orange barrel that has become a fairly permanent fixture will be gone hopefully this week. Have a light fixture that's been ordered for six months? February, yeah. So 8-ish months that is finally supposed to be here tomorrow. And so it will be going up soon. And so the orange barrel will no longer be a east side fixture.
So the truckers never knock the barrel out, but we get the new light up, they'll probably.
It'll be
knock-
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Rick?
One item, sir, I provided members of the board a copy of surplus electronic equipment. I need the board's approval, as we've done in the past, to recycle and dispose of it.
Rick, I haven't seen it, but this has virtually no value, correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
Want to wing that one too?
Sure. I will move to approve the listing of electronic equipment to be recycled and destroyed as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry?
Just in the process of downloading the new sewer utility rates, so getting ready to check those this month and ready for November.
Thank you.
It's going
Preston?
fine.
Deputy
like-
Chief Preston?
I would like to thank the parks and the city for allowing the fire department to use the 350 Ritchie Street project. The residents, for about the last month, we've got some good training and scenarios, and we really appreciate the partnership.
Thank you, sir. Chief?
Just real quick, in a couple of weeks, we should have a new hire, Jacob Gordon, coming to us. He is brand new, not a lateral transfer. He'll have to go to the academy. We're looking to send him in January if we can get him into class. And then, before everyone sees it on social media, we did have another arrest today on a school threat. This will be the third arrest in about the same number of weeks. We had one last week, 15-year-old male. Previous week, 15-year-old female. This week, 12-year-old male. And so, anyways,
Sounds like the system's working. Appreciate your efforts, Chief.
yeah.
The legal system, but
Yeah,
don't know what you're going to do to stop it. And it's
That's all I got.
It's countywide. It's a countywide problem.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Chip?
We were able to reschedule some things from the Fall Festival since we had to cancel it from some hurricane. On Saturday, October the 26th, we're going to have the Dotson Derby. So normally that would be during the Fall Festival, so all the little wiener dogs will run around at that event. Most of us in here know who Sammy Terry is. He'll be in town for that event. We have him. And Corey Cox has rescheduled a concert that we've already paid for. He was gracious enough to come and on this new date and have a concert that night from 6 to 8. So didn't lose that money, so that's good. And I don't know if you maybe saw this on social media, but we were able to reschedule the fireworks, not for this date, but for a future date this year, if you haven't heard, the holiday lighting. So we didn't lose our money on that one either, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Chan?
Nothing, Mayor.
Tina?
Nothing.
Ken?
Don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Lynn?
No, sir.
I have nothing, just to say thank you to the A-team and to all the workers that we have in the city that's doing a great job. So, thank you. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.